What's going on, guys? It is Foxy98 here, and welcome back to a brand new video for you guys today here on the channel. And today, I'm going to be doing another one of my videos whereby I'm going to be explaining a feature that I think could be added into future Formula 1 games and would really help just the game franchise in general. Last time around, I did a video whereby I explained how it would be the best way in order to get classic tracks back into the Formula 1 games. And you guys really enjoyed that video, and it did better than I thought it did, actually. And a lot of you guys were very much interactive with myself on what you thought of my opinions, whether you agreed, disagreed, whether you felt personally after watching all of my opinions in through. And that was kind of the best thing was, after you watched the video, you actually went through all of my opinions and discussed what you actually thought was the best route for you as a player when looking at my opinions. And it was really cool to see. So thank you very much for that. And today, I'm going to be doing another one. Now, I wanted to make a video of what I think would be the best way in order to improve F1 My Team for the future Formula 1 games. Now, I had a bunch of ideas written down. However, the one idea that I had written down, which is the concept of this whole video, was car customization. When I went ahead and tried to explain this in my full little list of things that I wanted changed for my team, oops, smack my mic there, the video was just going on too long, and I felt like it's actually better for me to explain to you guys in more detail via just the one video's format on how I think that this would work. So once again, I'm going to be going through and giving you guys a full in-depth breakdown on how I believe that car customization could be entered into the Formula 1 My Team game and how it would really help the game franchise in general. So let's get straight into what I think needs to do or needs to change in order for this to be implemented. Alright, so I'm over here now on F1 2020, and basically I want to explain to you guys, first of all, how I think that this would actually make sense and how it will be implemented. So as you can see right now, we're going to go to the overview, and we're going to, actually no, we can go to the facilities, I think it is. I can't actually remember where it is. I haven't played My Team in God knows how long to actually find all this stuff here. Here we go. So as you can see, we're currently over on My Team, and we've got our car right here. Now as you can see, it's really, really basic, and it's kind of a bit boring in a way. You know, when we look at this car, this is the car that everybody has, and as you can see, it's pretty much like a standard FOM or FIA car. We've got the bog standard car, very basic front wing, obviously, no real developments on the side pod, basic flooring, just chuck a T-wing in there, and obviously we've got the main car here. Now, what this does is it's a very nice starting point, and I actually think that every single Formula 1 car, when you start up My Team, needs to look like this. But once we get to a certain point, I actually feel like we should be moving away from this type of car and developing onwards. If we have a look at all the other cars that we've seen throughout season to season to season, they're constantly developing and changing. And in fact, to put that into a different perspective, the cars are constantly changing mid-season. We've already seen this when we've seen brand new upgrades come onto the cars, such as the Racing Point from 2020 goes from its normal looking Mercedes type, and then it has that brand new side pod design. I'll try and get pictures up of what I'm explaining. If I don't, you can bully me if you want, but I'm really bad at remembering these things. And then I remember in 2017, the Mercedes-Benz car for the first few races had a very basic shark fin design. Head to the Spanish Grand Prix, and they changed that, as well as the front wing design. Head to the Singapore Grand Prix, and they changed the shark fin once again, so it was a full fin. Throughout the course of the season, cars constantly are changing. What I wanted to do, or what I want to see, is cars also changing in My Team. It's all good, as you can see right now, once again, here with my car, currently going through the durability testing here. It's all great that my car is like this, and it has a livery, and it has sponsors on it. Now, obviously, to make your car look a little bit more like your own personal car, you'd have to go into modding on PC in order to make it look like your own car. Take videos such as Ben, Team at Mardix. He's got his own livery for his car, his Monsters-themed livery with his black, purple, and orange, or something like that. And that makes it look like Ben's car. That is his. No one else can get his looking car in terms of livery because that's his. But everybody's got the same car. Why can't we just develop our own perfect car? So here's what I'm talking about. This car right here is the base concept of the car. But for me, as a Formula 1 fan, right, I personally love Mercedes-Benz's front nose design. I like the thin front nose, and it just looks really, really nice to me. Maybe because I'm a Mercedes supporter, I love their cars more, but we'll get away for that section in a minute. Why is it then that I can't have my car look like something completely different to what someone else's car looks like? For an example, I like this car, this is the basic car that we see on here. I love the Mercedes front nose. Why can't I then go and spend money to go and purchase a front nose that looks like the Mercedes style? And that got me thinking, well, anyone could do that because we can all start off with the same boring and basic looking car, which is this FOM car. But then why can't I then go and develop that and make it not only my team in terms of, because the problem with my team is, look, this is my team save actually that I did for my YouTube. So it's Force Career, right? All I've got is a livery, which, I mean, you already know what the livery is. It's this stupid urban crap that I put onto it, right? But all we've got is this urban livery to it. And it's got my name, and it's got fake sponsors on it. Because obviously, I guess there has to be licensing purposes as to why they can't put real sponsors onto these cars, right? But apart from just having a livery and a name, it's the same car. To me, I want my team to feel more like my team, if that makes sense. So I feel like by doing this, it allows players to go in an even further directional split than what they have before. Whereas right now, it's just, oh yeah, I got a livery. Yeah, my car's blue. Yeah, but my car's purple. Yeah, our cars are exactly the same. Can you see where I'm coming at? I don't know if you might be in a completely different boat here than where I am, but to me, it's a bit like there isn't really anything that separates your team to another person's team, apart from the fact you've got a different name and a badge, and you've got a different livery on your car. You might even have the same livery, just a different colour. And then again, you're looking at like, well, why can't I do some changes? So I want to go really in depth and really deep on this. So we're going over to here now. We're going to go to the R&D tree here. So as you can see, right now we've got the progress history here, and you can see I had a regulation change at the end of Season 2, and starting at Season 3 here, I'm going to be by far the quickest car on the grid. That's besides the point. As you can see, also, in the top of the screen, is my camera blocking it? It's not, no. You can see that I've got £81.95 million. Where does that £81.95 million actually go to? It doesn't really go anywhere. I'd actually like to see, personally for me, we've got here R&D, and if I go to performance, right, let's see what I can upgrade on my car. So I could go ahead and do a DRS upgrade, and it would cost me 1,400 resource points. I'd actually like to see resource points stay. Now, I was considering actually binning resource points altogether, but I think that's probably the wrong way to go. What I want to see is the money that you can see in the top there actually be invested in getting these new parts. So if I wanted to get the Mercedes-styled front nose, I'd have to go ahead and physically buy it with my money. I'd have to say, right, let's invest this amount of money to change the front nose. Now, where does this make things interesting, or where does it make things different? Because the biggest problem here is if I said that I wanted a Mercedes-Benz styled front nose, or front nose cone, the biggest issue and the biggest thing that Codemasters cannot do is specifically state that if I bought this style of front nose, it will give me more downforce. That's the wrong way to go with it. Because if you then said, for an example, if you're a big fan of Williams and you want Williams' front nose, let's just use front nose as an example for now, right? If you want their front nose, then your biggest downfall is you can say that that front nose will knock off X amount of downforce. You can't do that. Because for a game player like me, and like all of you, why would I bother going for a Williams front nose when I'll just buy a Mercedes front nose and it will be better? The best way to go about doing this is to make all of the components that you're able to buy completely equal. How it would change things is, and this is where it gets interesting, I'm going to go to the R&D tree now here. And I'm going to specifically look at the aerodynamics. You could even look at the chassis for this side of things, because it can work. So let's go to the aerodynamics here. I want to go ahead and basically, I want to change and have a brand new front nose cone. I want the Mercedes front nose cone. Now, if I was going to do that, I could do it by spending the money. But what it's going to do then is it's going to get rid of some of your front downforce upgrades. Why would it get rid of them? Because the front downforce upgrades that we've got here for the front wing cascades, the front wing end plates, the front wing turning vanes, then we've got additional cascade pieces. I can't actually check these upgrades because I haven't actually got to them yet. You know, we've got the front wing end plates for less drag. All these things in here, if there's anything that helps with the front wing, for an example, or the front nose, obviously you're not going to have upgraded that front nose. You're going to have done your upgrades for your previous spec design. If you want to have a new spec, you're going to have to make changes to it. On the rear downforce side of things as well, if you wanted to, say, have a different looking halo, well, your upgrades right here for the halo is going to go, because you're now getting a brand new halo in. So then if you want to upgrade to get that halo back to the performance that you've done before, you're going to have to purchase that halo major upgrade again. It's a very interesting way, and it makes things remain equal. Going back now to the powertrain side of things, again, if you had a Mercedes power unit for the one season and then there was a regulation change, or let's say it stayed neutral. If you decided, I don't want a Mercedes power unit, you know, I love Ferrari, I want a Ferrari power unit in the back of my car instead. What might happen is these upgrades here, it might actually be that the Ferrari power unit has got all of these upgrades here, but we've upgraded this, and this, but we haven't actually done, you know, we haven't done that, we haven't done this, and all of these little extra upgrades here, it might be that on my Mercedes engine, as you can see, I've only got these. On my Ferrari, I might have all of them, because Ferrari have just given me everything. So, on this side of things, if I wanted a brand new front nose, fine, I can get a new front nose. But one of these upgrades is going to fall away, and you'll have to then re-upgrade your car. So you'll initially take a hit on whatever brand new part that you bring in, but you can then go ahead and purchase it back. Now, how do you go ahead and make this fun and more enjoyable and not have to waste R&D points by changing the look of your car constantly? Simple. Just make it half price instead. You've already bought the upgrade before, so you know the development time for this. So you brought in a new front nose. You've got to just do this small little tweak in here. You don't have this upgrade anymore, but pay half the price and you get it back in the next Grand Prix. Because the thing is, what we need to remember is when you're making upgrades to your car, they don't always come instantly. Take McLaren, for an example. They brought a brand new front nose design which matches Racing Point and Mercedes, but it took them quite a few races to actually get the thing working. It always takes a bit of process. You've always got to test out new things on the car and then make sure that they're working again. By doing it this way, in terms of you can have this front nose design, but you're going to have to do a couple of extra upgrades back onto the car again, means that you'll initially take that hit, but as long as you can get those upgrades back onto the car, you can then get yourself back on track again, and you'll be happy again. For me, it's a win-win situation. And it's the same with the chassis. If I had, you know, a side pod that looked like the Renault, but I was like, actually, do you know what? I want a side pod that looks like the Red Bull. Then bang, I can smash that on. But what it's going to do is it's going to say, right, let's go over to your weight reduction over here. And it'll be, right, the monocoque structure, which you've just changed. Let's say you've changed the monocoque structure. You've lost that upgrade now, because you've upgraded your monocoque structure for the current chassis that you've got. If you want to change the chassis, that's fine, but that means that you've lost your monocoque structure upgrade. What have you got to do? Simply just go ahead and buy it again. Not that difficult. So, that's what I've gone ahead and done for that side of things. It just makes sense, in my opinion, to do it on that format. Now, of course, the best thing for me then is obviously when it comes to the money side of things. What happens, and I'll do it I'm not going to go too in depth about money in this specific video about car customization, because I don't think that I've got a lot that I want to talk about with regards to money, and I don't want to ditch off into another dimension. But what I will say is that I feel like that we need to be spending that money and investing the money into a new rear wing, into a new T-wing concept, into a new front nose, front wing, chassis. And then it means that when I go into it, like I'm on season 3, I just said to you guys, I've got 81.95 million. Looking at my drivers here, my teammate is Lewis Hamilton. When else am I going to have to pay money? Well, I'm going to have to do it for the running costs here, but ready? It's how much money are they going to take out of my account? Oh, they took 250,000 out. Oh no. I'm on 83.88 million pounds. Oh no, I'm gonna lose so much money. Oh no, I'm not gonna lose anything. I'm sorry. I might as well actually have a challenge when it comes to the finances that I've got. And 83.8 million pounds. I've already signed Lewis Hamilton in only season 3. You need to change it up a little bit. So that's where this side of things come into now. And I've been speaking for quite a long time, literally just on this side of things. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you guys some images and basically show you how I would actually implement this specific style of system into the Formula 1 game, not only to make it more fun and accessible for you as a user, but also, the most important thing, to add longevity to the game and reward those that continue to play the Formula 1 game, rather than those that just log on, do a race, and then log off again. Okay, so the first way that I've gone ahead, and I think that this would help the F1 2020 marketplace, or not 2020, but the future F1 marketplace, is by adding it as a purchasable piece. So as you can see, I have gone ahead and copied and pasted the item shop from my game itself, because the item shop's actually open this time, so I can actually look at it. And basically give you guys an indication, as you can see on your screens right here, as to how you could do it. So what I'm going to do is explain very quickly what each element of this item shop is basically representing to itself. So in the item shop here, you can see that I have taken a picture of two Mercedes cars, a Ferrari, a Renault, and then also a McLaren. So I'm going to explain what each item is and what you'd actually get the upgrade piece for. So looking at the daily items, starting with the very first Mercedes here, which is specifically looking at the rear wing with the T-wing, I'm specifying here the T-wing, the one that's in the top left-hand corner, if you're still confused. So I'm looking at that one in particular. Now with this one here, obviously all Formula 1 cars have got different T-wings on the back of their car. Mercedes throughout the entirety of the 2021 season ran with this style of T-wing. At the start of the season, and it's actually on the game now, if you loaded up F1 2020, you'll be able to see that Mercedes has got the old spec T-wing, where it was literally not like this one. This spec T-wing, I believe, was introduced at Mugello, if I can state that correctly. Mercedes introduced a bunch of upgrades to their car back at the Belgian Grand Prix, which made changes to the little fins on the front nose, and that's something that I'm going to talk about as well. They then also made changes to the T-wing at the back, was another thing that I'd spotted. And I thought to myself, well, you know, why can't you just get a different T-wing? As you saw from when we were looking at F1 2020, you've got a bog standard T-wing that's just there. But for me personally, I don't like that T-wing. It just looks a little bit weird, and I don't know. I just don't like it, basically. So why can't I just pick a T-wing that's on the F1 2020 grid and use it as my own type? And it makes the car more like the way you want it to be. If you want your car to look like the Mercedes, then so be it. Make your car look like a Mercedes. If you want it to look like a Ferrari, make it like a Ferrari. If you want to hybridize it, go ahead and hybridize it. It's the best way forward. But as you can see, I've gone ahead and picked the T-wing. So if you wanted to go ahead and purchase Mercedes' T-wing, you can go ahead and do so. Obviously, throughout the season, it's very difficult as well then for Codemasters to go ahead and introduce these updates. Now, again, like I've said, the Mercedes-Benz car at the moment is at its old spec. It doesn't have the upgrades that were introduced at the Belgian Grand Prix. Now, obviously, because this is later on in the season, it's difficult for Codemasters to put those in. But it might be a stage that Mercedes, let's say next season now in 2021, make an upgrade and there are some changes to the car. If Codemasters can't physically change those and add them to the Mercedes, maybe they might just be able to create the asset of a T-wing, to create the asset of the shark fin or whatever it is that they get onto the car, the rear wing, and they might say, right, in the store is this T-wing, this, and this. And the beauty about the store, and the beauty about making the car look more like you, it doesn't have to be the exact same T-wing as the Mercedes, or as any of the cars on the grid. This is an FOM car that we're using in my team at the moment, and it's obviously just got a random T-wing on there. This can then give an opportunity for the artists that work at Codemasters to come up with their own designs. At the end of the day, Codemasters have got artists. They've got livery artists as well. If the livery artists are working hard, creating brand new liveries that you can put on your My Team car or whatever, Why can't the artists come up with a brand new T-Wing? Or why can't the artists just design a random front wing and say, hey, do you fancy this front wing on your My Team car? Here it is, it's in the store. Like, £2, whatever. Job done. Like, to me, that's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong about that. Next up then is the one on the top right. So again, we're looking at the Ferrari this time, and I'm focusing more on the front nose, again, and the front wing. If you want a Ferrari-style front nose, where it's not the thin version that everyone's starting to go down, go and buy the front nose and have Ferrari's type of front nose on your car. Or again, Codemasters. You've got artists and modelers. Now again, this depends on how busy, obviously, they are. You have to cut the slack on them because they are working flat out, day in, day out, working not only on the current title, but also on the next title. And they're probably making progress right now on F1 2022, such as how the development cycle works for games. But if there are spare and more jobs that start to become available to do this type of thing, then why not? Because it's like, it allows you then, again, with this being in the store, it does actually increase the longevity, because you might not have what you want at the moment, but let's say in January, all of a sudden, it's, oh my god, I love that front nose, I want it on my Team car, and I want to buy it, I want to develop it, and then I want to put it as my car and then drive with it. Longevity. It's quite simple. Next one then is specifically looking at the Mercedes rear wing. Again, if you wanted to change the rear wing end plate, maybe on the FOM car, there's no like little strakes in the car. It's maybe just like literally a straight square. Maybe on this one, it's got a couple of strakes in there. So do you want a front wing end plate where it's got a rear wing end plate, sorry, where it's got some strakes in there? Also, I want to have a look at the bulkhead of the car as well, which is on this one. So Mercedes-Benz, if we have a look at the two pieces that I've actually taken a picture of there, the one that I took at Mugello, you can see that it's got two swan fin pieces that connect to the rear wing from the exhaust. On the one at the bottom, which I believe was taken from Austria or one of the high-speed circuits, it had that just one central plane, and then the DRS point is just by here on there. I've got a perfect example for you, so I'm not being stupid. Mercedes. See, I'm technical with all this. I've even got a car. So here we've got the Mercedes-Benz car. You can see that on the rear wing, there are two little swan necks that literally connect. I'm trying to find the best way for you guys to see this without it just being complicated. I think that's probably as best as I'm going to get. You can see the two swan necks that are in here, which connect to the rear wing. What if you want the two swan necks in there? I might fancy two swan necks. Or, if we then swap it up a little bit, and then have a look at one of the Red Bulls here, for example. This is the 2019 Red Bull, so Red Bull changed it in 2020. But if you have a look at the rear wing this time around, it's got just one simple swan neck that connects from the rear to the actual wing itself, and then attaches to the DRS point. So for me, that would actually be a kind of nice way of being like another extra feature. It's like, well, why would I want two things and then one? Why would I pay for that? Obviously, I'm just making it as an example. It doesn't actually mean that you have to physically pay for that piece. And that's actually, funnily enough, why I've got the Renault picture there again. You know, why can't I just have two swan necks in there? Or maybe I just want the one. It's completely up to you. Freedom of choice. Next up then, I've also then got the McLaren. Specifically with the McLaren, the reason I've got this one in here is I'm specifying the look of the halo. Now the reason I'm looking at the halo is because with this, with the F1 at the moment, a lot of the cars have all got the same design in terms of most of their looks. But what they've also got is slightly different concepts. Now, if we look at the halo on the McLaren, as we can see there, it's just a plain and simple halo. But if you look at the halo, for example, let's say on the Mercedes has got aero pieces on the halo. They've got two little aero pieces on their halo. If you look at the Alfa Romeo, it's got its own halo piece where it sort of like tucks in underneath, and then it's got that piece in there. You might want some halo. You might want some aero pieces on your halo. You might not. That's completely up to you. So that's the one way that I'd go around adding this into the game, is by putting it into the store and saying, fancy buying a new front wing for your My Team car? Here you go, here's a new front wing. Buy it. People would pay for it if you put it at like £2-3 or £2-3. Are you gonna buy it? Of course you would. And then the last way that I'd go ahead and do this is quite an easy way. It's actually having a full-on leveling system. Now, in the game at the moment, we have got a podium pass system. Now, I've used the podium pass as like my example, but as you can see, I've blacked out everything that's not necessary. At the moment, in the game, you don't specifically level up from what I can actually remember. You sort of just, you do level up, but it's per season. So, season 1, you're level 30. whatever. You can see here that I'm actually level level 5. No, it's tier 5, sorry, on this current season of F1 2020, season number 4. Why can't I then instead have an overall level in the game itself, and once I level up, I can upgrade, I can add new things. This allows then for pure longevity within your game. It's as simple as that. If you want, for an example, this McLaren Halo, which is, you know, this Halo design to go onto your car, then that's absolutely fine. But you're going to have to play and earn it. It's the best way of doing it. It allows you, you know, once you're going for your levels, it's like, for me, for an example, you know, I want the Mercedes front nose on my car. What's the best way for me to do that? Damn it, I have to be level 30 to unlock it. Okay, fine, I'm going to play F1 then, till I'm level 30, get this brand new piece on my car, and then boom, I can put it on my car. And then to me, I then feel a sense of pride and accomplishment because I've unlocked what I wanted. I wanted the Mercedes front nose. I can now jump into my team and I can go ahead and I can upgrade and have a brand new front nose on my car, and I feel good about it. And that's the cool thing about it. Having an overall level system where I can level up in whatever game mode I play, whether that's career mode, my team, Grand Prix, championships, time trial, multiplayer, the lot. I'm just able to upgrade and level up, and I can unlock some cool things. Sure, you could even use this level system for anything, but obviously I'd leave the podium pass and the level upgrade system separate, but you could integrate them both together. No issues in doing that. Again, though, just be careful in terms of actually using the podium pass as a way of buying through some of these things. But why not also using the podium pass that you can go ahead and if you hit tier number 30 in the podium pass, you can have a rear wing that goes into your my team. It adds more to the collection rather than just having so many points where it's just free batch, livery, free batch, livery, new rear wing, new T-wing, new halo. It's better that way. So you can either do a podium pass system, which is kind of self-explanatory really, and then you can do just a bog standard leveling up system. And if you want to make it a little bit more complicated than that, kind of depends really, you could have a level up, you can have a leveling system specifically suited for just my team. So you can rank up in my team, so you've got the driver acclaim system that you've got. That's the perfect way of doing it. You've got driver and team acclaim that are not really useful. If you've got low driver acclaim and low team acclaim, who cares really? Why don't I then use the team acclaim? Let's say my team acclaim hits level 5, like it says on the screen right here. I then have now unlocked a new rear wing end plane. So instead of playing every single game mode to unlock all these things, it's, well, if you're so dedicated to my team and you enjoy it that much, well then, if you can hit team acclaim level 20, you can then unlock the halo in there. It's the best way of going about it. It's going to add longevity, or you can add in a little bit of extra revenue, which again, Codemasters are a company and they're going to need them. But I think I've rambled on for long enough now. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed today's video. If you have, feel free to drop it a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here as well. Let me know what you think about what I have said about car customizations into the future of Formula 1. Is it something that you're interested in? Is it something that you're not? And yeah, for now guys, I'll see you guys soon, where I'll then go into what I actually think of everything with regards to my team. It's just car customization. I had a lot to say, as you could tell by this video being half an hour plus long, and I wanted to get it all out. The rest of it will be out at some point in the near future. But let me know what you think, and until then, I'll see you next time. Take care all. Peace.